Your biggest enemy isn't failure, it's being afraid of what other people think about you. Caring what other people think is the fastest way to stay stuck, and I see it happen all the time. I see it in people who want to start posting online but never do. I see it in people who want to start a business, go to the gym, learn a skill, and they keep pushing it off. Not because they can't do it, but because they don't want to look stupid trying. And trust me, I get it because I've been there too. Today I'm going to share a story on how I was in the same situation, how I got out, and how you can too. You're watching Life with Jay? Let's get into the video. Growing up, I always felt anxious and hated being in social environments. I remember not even wanting to go to the movie theaters because I was scared of being in public spaces. I carried this personal trait with me throughout most of my life until I figured out how to gain confidence. But to get to that point in my life was not easy for me. At the age of 18, I just finished high school and started working a full-time job in a warehouse. I met someone who would later turn into a friend named Onyx. Onyx was about the same age as me and we had a few things in common. He was a super laid-back dude who was very passionate about music. I eventually learned that in his spare time he also made music, meaning that he produced beats, he rapped, mixed vocals, and everything else in that area. I was very inspired by this for whatever reason, and on our work breaks I remember going back to his place so that he could work on his music. For a little while, I would just sit back, watch, and slowly learn what he was doing. Not long after, I decided that this is something that I found to be very cool and want to try out myself. I got him to teach me a little bit about producing beats because that's what I found the most interesting. He showed me, and not long after, I was able to create and produce music myself. At the time, I was going through a recent high school heartbreak, and without realizing it, I needed an outlet, and music was the perfect choice. I started recording vocals and making complete songs, mainly expressing my emotions related to my breakup. This was something that made me feel very vulnerable, but at the same time, it felt like a really good coping mechanism for me. My passion grew more and more, and one day I had an album sitting in front of me ready to release. I didn't tell many people about my new hobby because I was embarrassed about what they would think. I told some of my close friends and they didn't really seem to care about what I was doing, and I never really understood why at the time. I thought to myself, if they were doing this or pursuing a passion, I would cheer them on. So why wouldn't they support and cheer me on? Looking back at it today, to be brutally honest, my music was pretty garbage at that point. Which makes complete sense because this was something I've never done before. I had next to no experience and barely put enough time into it yet. This is a quick side note, but always keep in mind when starting something new, you're gonna suck at first. That's just how it goes, and the only way to get better is by enduring that pain and staying consistent. They do say practice makes perfect for a reason. Alright, back to the story. I figured that because my music was garbage, my friends didn't want to support me. And although that probably was a supporting factor, I don't think that that was the main reason. You see, I realized later on in life that people around you start to act strange when you get out of your comfort zone and try something new. They think to themselves, that's not something he's ever done before, and it really confuses them. In my personal experience, I believe this mainly happens because people are afraid of stepping out of their own comfort zone. So in order to make themselves feel better, they view discomfort as something negative. Therefore, when you try something new or discomforting, they view it negatively. So this answers our question. We are afraid of what other people think because we know they have a negative point of view when something doesn't make sense to them. Although this isn't always the case. Let me continue my story. I released that album I made and I shared it to as many places as I could, told all my friends, and no one really supported what I was doing. Nobody listened, nobody cared, and everyone thought I was cringe. I even remember having a bunch of people I knew unfollow me. Although this hurt me at first, I felt proud of myself for one of the first times in my life. I worked hard on something I was passionate about and grew the courage to share it to the world. Even though no one listened, I was determined to do more because it felt good. I knew no one really cared about what I was doing, but I kept my head down and kept making music. Slowly over time, I got better and better and felt a bit of confidence building up. I started to market my music on TikTok, and one day a video I posted went semi-viral. It was a video of me showing a song to my mom, and for whatever reason, people cared. I was getting a ton of follows, likes, comments, and so much support from people I didn't even know. I woke up the next day to dozens of DMs from strangers telling me how great my music was. That was an unreal feeling. You're telling me that none of the close people around me cared enough to support me, but these random strangers online will? Although this felt weird, I remember feeling this sense of relief knowing that all my hard work wasn't for nothing. This lit an even bigger fire for me, and I started putting even more effort into my craft. I now wanted to prove to the people around me that I could make it. This led me to being able to monetize the music I was making and build an even bigger following. The funny thing is, after all this happened, finally, the people around me started to show support. They were confused at first, but they could now see why I did what I did. I made it clear for them. So my question for you is, why do you care what other people think? You're scared of being cringy at first and everyone pointing fingers and laughing at you, but you need to understand the reason why this happens is because they couldn't do it themselves. They couldn't build up the courage to step into the discomfort of something new. So in reality, it's a reflection of themselves, not you. I want to end off this video by saying don't let anyone stop you from chasing your goals because you're scared of what they may think. Stay consistent and that will build confidence in yourself. When you see the results, you will then realize that no one's opinion ever mattered in the first place. So don't be afraid of what other people think. Be afraid of feeling regret for something that you didn't do. At the end of the day, trying beats doing nothing every time. So try whatever it is that you may want to do and see where it can take you. Lastly, I want to share this quote by Lao Tzu. He said, "Care what other people think and you will always be their prisoner." And to follow up on that quote, I made one of my own. They don't want you to do better than them, so show them you are. I hope that from my story and my personal experience that I can inspire you to do better and hopefully push you closer to the person that you want to become. Thank you for watching as always. Be sure to subscribe for more and I'll see you in the next one.